What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video today. Today is going to be, I think, a fun video. I'm going to be showing you my top spring fishing lures. It's like during the spawn and everything, which is starting to heat up here where I live. The temperature has been like in the 70s, 60s, and 50s, and it's been really sunny the past couple days. And the water temperatures have been heating up with it, and the pre-spawn is coming up. It's just been getting pretty good here. We've been catching a lot of fish, which, like you guys saw in my last video, caught quite a few fish, and it was pretty fun. It was a good weekend. So now I'm going to be showing you my favorite baits for the pre-spawn, the spawn, and the post-spawn. So I hope you guys enjoy what's to come. First, before I tell you guys all about my favorite lures, I want to tell you guys about my sponsors that I got. So one of my sponsors is Polar Ice Coolers, which you can see right there, Polar Ice Coolers. And then if you want to contact them, you can contact them from that right there. But they are pretty much just like Yetis. I actually have a free cooler right here that we got, but it's this is what they look like, and they have several colors, and they have a scale right here. So say you're fishing and you want to measure your fish, they got a scale right here. And then they have a handle. It's not like a plastic handle where it might break. It's a good handle that's like metal and stuff. I don't even know what it is, but it's a strong handle, and it's just got its logo on it. It's got good plastic grips, and it's just like a Yeti. It's almost identical to a Yeti, but it's much cheaper. And they've tested it out, and it's pretty much, they had ice in it for I think a week and a half. Yeah, so there's ice in it for quite a while. But anyway, like I showed you guys the business card, you guys can contact them if you want a cooler, one of their coolers, which they come in the tan color that I just showed you. They come in camo, white, dark blue, light blue, I think, pink. I'm not sure what other colors are, but they have a lot of colors. I know that. So you guys can go contact them if you want one of their coolers, and they're way cheaper than a Yeti. So, and they're almost identical to a Yeti. And there's one thing: if you guys want a cooler with wheels, they don't have wheels, so you can't get a cooler like that. You just have one that it just has a handle and you have to carry it around. But they have several different sizes too, so you guys can go check them out, and you can get that figured out with them if you would like to do that. And then my other sponsor is Predator Baits, which, here, I'll show you. So the March coupon code, I get like a whole bunch of free discounts and stuff, but the March coupon code is sponsor4117, which I will put I'll put their website in the description, and I will have that code, the discount code, right here. Alright, so I'll leave the link to their website in the description so you guys can go check them out, and I will leave the contact information for these coolers in the description as well. So let's get into these baits. Okay, so the pre-spawn baits are right here, the spawn baits are right here, and the post-spawn baits are right here. So let's start out with the pre-spawn baits. And I'm going to let you guys know that this is no specific order. This is just what I think, where I live at least, are the best baits and what I would go to at any time. So we're going to start off with the pre-spawn, which is pretty much right now. And we have a square bill crankbait right there. And this is in a red shad color, which square bill crankbaits are just dominant, and you can catch fish on them pretty much in the fall and in the pre-spawn, and this is just a really good bait to go to, and I really recommend it around these times because those fish are just looking for something to feed off of, like crankbait right here, square bill crankbait. And you can go nick the top of the grass, which will usually get them to strike, and these are just two of them that I have laid out right here, but you can get them in several different colors, obviously. And these are just something that I would definitely recommend for this time of the year. So square bill crankbait is something I'd go to in the pre-spawn. Another thing that I'd go to is a jig. So right here is a black and blue jig, and you can usually throw jigs around like stuff that holds heat. So say rocks, say falling down trees, logs, just pretty much anything that holds heat over this time of the year, because the fish are going to be around those heated places, because they like to be around the warm, obviously. And that's why I would throw a jig, which will usually get them to strike. So that is another great lure that I'd go to, is a jig. And you want a football-headed jig. If you're throwing it like around rocks and stuff, it'll prevent you from getting caught and tangled up in those rocks. So that's a little tip. The next lure is a jerkbait. So this right here is a suspending jerkbait, and I will throw this this time of the year in the pre-spawn a ton. I was actually using it in my last video, and I was catching a lot of fish off this. Well, my dad was, at least, which he says that he's the professional. So this is a great lure also whenever the ice just gets unthawed. So if you guys still have ice on your lakes and you're waiting for them to unthaw, I would go to a jerkbait, which this is a Sexy Shad jerkbait, and they just work great for this time of the year. It's absolutely amazing how these things work. They're just a great bait, and it's one of my go-to lures. So a jerkbait is definitely something I would throw this time of the year. Okay, so after the pre-spawn and we're starting to move into our actual spawn and we're getting on those beds and stuff, one of the lures that I'd go with is like right here. So right here is some type of little plastic swim bait, which it'll stand on top of the water. So pretend this is the bottom. It'll stand like this and just like jig it around, and once you hit that sweet spot, it'll look like that it's trying to eat the eggs, which I'm not sure. You can use this, which will be fine, but if you have something that mimics a bluegill really well and you stand it up like this so it looks like it's eating the eggs, it's almost unresistible for bass to eat, because they want to protect their eggs, and you can catch a ton of big fat females off that. Another similar way to do that is by using this shaky head right here, which it'll stand up like this. On the bottom, it'll look like it's eating those eggs, and a bass will just, big old female will just come and eat it, or big old male. And that's why those two baits right here are my most dominant lures in the spawn, and I'll always go to this. I always have this tied on. This is pretty much my go-to right here. A Senko on a shaky head or a trick worm or something, and it's unresistible for bass to strike. Another thing is this missile bait right here. Missile baits are amazing, alright? So that's actually a company that I'm talking about right now, Missile Baits, and I will leave the link to their company in the description below, which this is a missile bait right here, and I love these things so much. These things are the bomb.com. I love them. And you can Texas rig them right here, and you can just Texas rig them, and you can do the same thing, throw them over beds, and it'll look like it's something eating the eggs. And you can get it in a bluegill color, which can mimic a bluegill, and you can do the same thing with this, as I said earlier. But if you get a Texas rig, you Texas rig it and get a little like drop shot weight kind of deal on the tip here, tip of the hook, and it'll stand up just like this if you get a bluegill pattern, and it'll look like it's eating the eggs, which just mimics more of a crawl, but I mean, they have different baits that you can get to mimic bluegill doing that, and this is just something that I'll definitely go to. I love like sweet beavers, missile baits, all these type of baits that mimic stuff like this, and these are just phenomenal. I love these type of baits, and I'll leave the link to their website down below. So now we're starting to move into the later parts of the spawn. It's post-spawn, it's all over, and you're getting into your summer months. One bait that I would go to is this crawl here. I'm not for sure the exact name of what this is, but these things are also amazing. And once these fish move back down They move back a little bit during the day. You take a Texas rig and you rig her up and you just throw this along the bottom, just run along the bottom, depending on where the fish are, how deep they are, and you can catch a ton of fish with this. I love throwing anything that mimics a crawl. It doesn't exactly have to be this bait, but there are several different things that can mimic crawdads, and this is something amazing to go to. So this is a big recommendation. So another bait is a chatterbait. This is a chartreuse and white chatterbait, and that is my favorite colored chatterbait, and these things are just great. I wanted to throw this in here with along all of this because, I mean, I've been catching fish on chatterbaits right now. You can catch them in the spawn, you can catch them all time of the year. I mean, I always have a chatterbait in my box because it is a dominant bait all times of the year. But especially after the spawn, I use this thing all the time in the summertime. I always have a chatterbait on, and you always catch fish on chatterbaits, it seems like. They're just definitely one of my favorite baits, and I will always go to it. So that is why a chatterbait is included with all of this stuff. So my favorite bait all time of the year, it's the funnest bait ever for me, is a frog. This is a hollow body popping frog by Booyah Baits, and oh my goodness, this is my favorite color. I also have a white one of these, and then I have just an absolute yellow one. But this is something, this color frog is the same exact color frog that I caught. It was a 6.5 pound bass last year at one of my friend's ponds. We went fishing in the morning, and I was just popping it along the edge of this bank, and all of a sudden this huge explosion exploded on this frog, and I smoked him. The fish was so big. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing. But I caught it on a frog exactly like this. So I've been using these color frogs for ever since I caught that fish, and I just love frogs. Frogs are my absolute favorite bait to go to. I will always use frogs, and I always recommend the hollow body ones, but you can also just go to the plastic ones that you rig up with a Texas rig. But frogs are amazing for post-spawn and all throughout the summer. So this is something that you have to have in your tackle box if you love watching that topwater explosion. So this is definitely something to go to. So I showed you guys all of this and all my favorite baits to go to around those periods of the year. And some other baits you can go to is a buzz bait for post-spawn. You can do a Senko all time of the year. Senkos are just phenomenal with the Texas rig. You always catch fish in that. I mean, there's so many baits that you can use, but these are just my favorites. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to go check out Polarized Coolers and Predator Baits. So go check those two out. Like I said, I'll leave the link to their websites and how to contact Polarized Coolers down in the description below. So don't forget to go check them out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.